So David, welcome back to another episode of Business in West Africa. For the viewers and listeners, I'm Jim Bauman, I'm your host. I'm accompanied again by my co-host David Kpondehou, founder and CEO of Africa Samurai Consulting.
Yes, sir.
In the previous episode, we went into a bit more detail about David's background and how he got from Ivory Coast to Benin and currently in Japan with me, as well as what his company does and what his philosophy in life is. Starting today, we will go into more detail for all of you who want to start a business in Africa, whether you are West African or you're from another place on this planet. Today's episode, we will focus on how to enter the company. And what David told me before we started is that finding a partner is most likely the best way to enter the country. So that's where we will start today. So David, if you were to start a new business, you're from outside Africa, you want to start a new business in Benin in your case,
Yes.
how would you approach that?
So thank you very much for having me again this afternoon. So finding the right partner is the key, because if you have the right partner, it's easy for you to start a business in any country in Africa, mainly in general. That's business way. So for example, for someone like me in Japan now who would like to do something in Benin, I will first look for a right partner to deal with in Benin. So how do we get this partner? If I'm from Japan and I would like to enter, for example, in Benin, it's better for me to look around who are those people, or who is that person who study in Japanese, for example, university, or who already know about both countries. So it will be easy as, for example, Japanese person or as a company in Japan who would like to do something in Benin, to get in touch with someone who already knows about those both countries. So I can contact someone who have been in Japan and who maybe back to Benin, I can cooperate with that person easily, so that the communication could be easy, and the trust that is very important. It's key. That's very important thing I think we should take in consideration. So now after that, if that person is going to introduce me another person regarding the topic or the type of business I would like to do, it depends on the situation, but the key person should be someone you already met abroad, like a diaspora, Africa diaspora member, and those people are good facilitator to get into the country, mainly in Benin or any West African country or Africa in general.
Okay, so if I understand it correctly, the key is finding somebody who has ties with both countries, the
Sure.
country where the company is from as well as the country you want to do the work in.
Yeah, that's the easier way and the trustworthy way to get into the country.
Okay, but even still, taking one step back, if you want to find that particular person, how do you go about it? Do you recommend going to the embassy of that country in your own country? Let's say the embassy of Benin in Japan, or do you try to find within your own, let's say, Japanese network, if they know somebody who has done business in Benin already? How would you go about trying to find that first person?
Both ways are possible. If you would like to go to Benin and you don't really know any Beninese person in Japan, it's better to contact the embassy and check with them, like what are the possibilities, and explain to them what are like your business, and they could find someone who can be supportive for your business. So that's one way. But if not, if you already have some Japanese company who did something in Benin already, it's easy also to contact those companies, try to understand more the market and who could be the main partner to cooperate with. But both ways are possible.
Okay. And let's say you're in the position, you've done your networking and searching, you found a person that has understanding of both markets. How can you judge if this person is reliable or not?
if that person is reliable or not. Mainly for someone who understands your culture, like someone who have been in Japan and who really know how Japanese company operate. I think this person, I can say 70% is reliable because he traveled. He have been to your country and he knows how business is working and how business ethic is in your country. So I think those person we can rely on them, but yeah, we can rely on them from my perspective, and we can deal with them.
So the fact that an African person has been living and working abroad for a while is already something that increases the not so much reputation, but the reliability and trustworthiness of that individual.
It it's a matter of communication because even though we never know, you can meet some people who personally are not gonna be credible as much as you expected, but it doesn't mean that those even in Benin you won't find people credible. You can find credible people everywhere, trustful people, like people you can trust. You can find them everywhere. It depends on the situation. So in the current situation, I think for cultural understanding, for communication, and I think those two key points are very key for you to get into the market. Before even talking about trust, if you can communicate well with that person and the person understands your culture, those persons are easy to deal with first. And then regarding the trust, it's depend on your business, and I think you need to set up at least the minimum security for your collaboration. So for saying that, you can sign an MOU or any type of agreement that create more like an authentic tie between your relationship. So,
and if you have the choice between so imagine you're from Japan. We're using Japan a lot as an example because we're currently in Japan. Imagine you're a company in Japan. Would you go with a Japanese person that has been living and working in Benin, or would you go with a Beninese person who has been working and living in Japan as your partner?
If I'm a Japanese company.
Yes, so you're trying to enter the Beninese market. Do you recommend going with somebody who's from your country but living in the country you want to do work? Or do you recommend going with someone who originally is from the country you're trying to do the work?
I think both are possible, both are recommendable, but I will say going with an African who have been living in Japan can give you more opportunity because he can introduce you to a lot of other possible partners, and he really know about the business operation in his country better than the Japanese person who have been in Benin, who is maybe working in Benin. For sure, he understand the business way in Benin, but there are some key points related to culture or some key connection that you might need to open some doors and to make things move faster and to get more opportunities. I think he won't be maybe able to help you for that. So it's better to have a native of that country, maybe a Beninese person could be the right person to deal with.
Okay. Just to kind of give an overview to the listeners and readers what we discussed about today. So today we were talking about if you're a company from overseas wanting to do business in a West African country, in this case Benin, how to go about starting and trying to find that perfect individual or company that you want to do work with. Your suggestion was to find somebody who understands both cultures, preferably somebody who is originally from that country and who has now been working or living for a while in the country where the overseas company is from. How to find that person can be in various ways. It can be via the embassy or via the trade chamber, chamber of commerce, as well as from your own network. That doesn't matter too much as long as you yourself have a good feeling with that person.
Perfect. Yeah. Perfect.
Okay. This is part of a two-series episode. So today we talked about finding a partnership. In the next episode, which will be released tomorrow, we will talk about establishing the partnerships, the options you have there. So David, thank you for today.
Thank you, man. Thank you very much.
For everybody else on the podcast, as well as the viewers at home, down in the description and in the text box, you can find all the links to David and me, our personal handles, as well as David's company. If you have any questions, do leave a comment or leave a review, and we will handle all of those as soon as possible.
Yeah.
Thank you for today.
Thank you very much.